So here we are again with the Center for Earth Education and Learning, the speaker series live. And today I have the pleasure again to speak with Peter Maxwell Slattery. Peter, welcome.
Henning, thank you for having me again, and it's a pleasure doing these with you.
Oh, thank you. And again, I hope this is beneficial for all. And the intention of the center and the focus is on galactic education, to learn about us, other species and planets around us. And for now, we want to, for this recording, we want to focus on the Elohim. And let's get directly into the first question, Peter. How did you get in contact with the Elohim?
They came to me, though, through recall, we could say pre-incarnation aspects from the Godhead coming into the body, meaning an aspect of my higher self sending a pinhead of its awareness into this physical existence. There was an agreement beforehand, and the first interactions was seeing them as blue orbs that would come into my home at the time, and over time I would see lightning and one of these beings appear, eventually two of them, and later on it was excursions on, well, we could say they were trans-dimensional organic crystal devices, sort of like a ship, a realm that I would have meetings on, and then later, up until today, experiences where I'm taken to the ERC, the Elohim Representative Council, which is comprised of many beings from many worlds. The numbers vary almost every time I've had these interactions. So those interactions really started around, I believe, 2011 with the Blue Orb into 2012, which is where in December of that year, if I've got it correct from memory, was the first, we could say, form of communication and manifestation of them from a blue orb into these 7-foot-tall blue light beings.
Okay, thank you. And the second question is, what can you share about the highest being of the Elohim? I should add, I think as I recall it, you said something you believe that is the kind of highest being is an Elohim. But again, what is maybe the highest being of the Elohim, it or themselves?
The way I'll explain this is, imagine my body as God. Everything in existence is my body. Now, each cell that makes up the body, that would be an Elohim. And your highest expression is an Elohim being. So, in your shapeless, formless, unbounded aspect, now, we go back, we could say, to it being known as gods in the Bible. It's a plural word. So, to elaborate on that as well, there are beings that are purely in that state, we could say in the makeup of God, for that's their job. We could say eternity, but it's timeless in that state. There are also beings in another frequency, and they're creator beings. They create where things come in physical manifestation. So from the light blueprint, which is the non-corporeal state of every reality that has a physicality, they are creating on the light blueprint, putting stars, planets, everything set up in that way, even on the planets themselves, to where there's souls like us that incarnate into the human experience. As an example, they come into physical manifestation first from a light blueprint level. So let's say there's Earth. Earth just came into existence. Now, after creating it from a light blueprint level, they now go from a non-physical state into a physical state to where they're nor male nor female. Now, they come into physical existence once the planetary body's at a certain level that it can have life on it. And of course, that life will keep changing, whether it's extraterrestrials or other Elohim coming and tinkering with it. So once it's at a certain level as them in physicality, experiencing that world, making sure everything's in check from my understanding, then from the light blueprint level, they bring in male, female from the Elohim state, as above, so below, into physicality. Now there's male, now there's female, to procreate for more souls through those births to come in, and we could say bring in a organic reproduction system through making love and what have you, to where souls can come in into the baby and then be born into this existence. All part of soul evolution, though I will say that there are Elohim of all colours correlating to the densities. There are Elohim that we could say regulate their domain of density. So each colours of the chakras, now you turn that into Elohims, there's different colours. The main ones are the blue ones that I interface with. And also to say here, there are ones that when they came into physicality, fell in a sense that they loved the physicality, what they could do in physicality, which is where the start of the dark masters, the fallen Elohim, the lower light, comes into play. And that's where they created the AI. They're easy, we could say, to be in a situation to where they can manipulate the Elohim, archons, all these different types of entities that are part of this lower light network are also created by the fallen Elohim. So this is a two-part to where you can also use, while I'm thinking of it, to say this here, the Anunnaki term. Now the Anunnaki, we could say those who from the heavens came to earth. You could also use that terminology as it was relayed to me. Some of them are known in Lyra as the Anunnaki, meaning from their stance, those who are in the light blueprint came from heaven, another frequency, and then came in the physical manifestation. Now in the physical is another terminology. With some species they will use Anunnaki for the Elohim. But there, to me, on another level with the contacts and the Shiji material, it goes a bit into this. This is a series of best-selling material books that I've done, the Shiji material, books 1, 2, 3 and 4, that go into this a lot more laid. So I'm trying to compress it right down. And yes, we're doing a video on it, but it is very late and I don't want to sort of keep steering because it's a lot of dovetailing onto the next thing.
Thank you, Peter. And so question, why could this, what we just spoke about, be relevant for all?
Well, for starters, I think it's going to be different for what sparks a relevance in each person's mind. What I hope from this information is for people to have a sparking in their consciousness, a spark, ignite of what if what Pete's saying is real. What does this mean to me? Well, I would hope it would mean that they're shapeless, formless, unbounded, eternal beings, which we all are. It starts to get them, the wheels turning, thinking about that and how we're here to experience. But what people tend to forget, and of course with mortgage and work and kids and day-to-day life, we tend to forget that not only the things I just mentioned, but part of all this is not just being an Elohim created being in our highest expression, but that's what we're doing here in physical form. We're creator beings in the physical form. And if you know that and you can embody that, not from looking to other people, looking for a saviour, looking up to this, looking up to that, but remember that you're a child of God and let that energy work through you. Whether you call it the universe, source, creator, whatever you want to term that, we can change this reality because we are here to create. It's just we've got to empower ourselves and also do it from a loving place and a higher frequency, not a lower frequency. That's, we could say, a glimmer of what I hope people can get from this and what it means to them. But of course it's going to be different for each individual.
I want to add, it was kind of interesting. The question was shared earlier, and I put that in already in advance, what we just spoke about. But of course we are now speaking about it, and I just want to add 3 more things. Those things I just noted down during the kind of recording we are still in. So first is, we are individual and all is individual. Second, this is maybe a short recording, but find what is in here. And third, as always, use your discernment, use your wisdom. and use all your, and let's say this is applicable for all of us, including both you, Peter, and me. Let's use all our own unique abilities. And with that, Peter, thank you. Looking forward to our next recording.
Blessings. Thank you, Henning.